Welcome to part 3 of this 5-part presentation on consultant learning, a framework for empowering students to excel and a framework for transforming your teaching experience. I'm Scott Kunkel, professor at the University of San Diego and the creator of consultant learning. In part 2 of this presentation, we compared traditional learning with PBL. And we've seen that consultant learning is a variant of student-centered project-based learning. We learned how, in consultant learning, the teacher controls the content of what's being learned, while the student is allowed to control the context within which the learning takes place. This increases student motivation and interest in what they're learning, and increases retention of what they learn. In part 3 of this presentation, we'll learn about grading in a consultant learning course, and discuss how grading may affect student interest and dropout rates. Consultant learning changes grading into coaching. In a traditional course, all the students do the same quantity of work, the same assignments, chapters, exercises, tests, and so forth. And grading is based on the quality of the work. Excellent quality work gets an A, mediocre quality gets a B, poor quality gets a C. Poor quality work is accepted, it's just downgraded. By the way, a synonym for downgraded is degraded. In consultant learning, only excellent quality work is accepted. Work that is not excellent quality is returned to the student with notes on what needs to be done to make it excellent quality, and the student is allowed to resubmit it with the required corrections. Now, this process continues until the project is excellent quality. Therefore, grading is based on the quantity of excellent quality work that's completed. As I mentioned to you in part 2 of this presentation, I can show you how you can do this reevaluation of projects in minutes per project, leading to a workload for a teacher that's not significantly above that for a teacher using traditional testing methods. Showing the student how they can improve their work is coaching. And in consultant learning, coaching replaces degrading. Consultant learning changes the final grading dimension from the quality of work done to the quantity of excellent quality work done. But consultant learning also changes the grading process from degrading the student to coaching the student. Now think about it. If grading were really a motivator, don't you think that athletic coaches would use this method to motivate their players? But you don't see coaches giving players grades after each game or practice. Managers in leading companies are learning that evaluating their employees as above average, average, or below average is not motivating to the employees because 80% of the employees think they're above average. And telling them that they are average or below does not motivate them. Coaching them on how they can do their jobs better is what motivates them. Giving a student a C on a paper and returning it sends the message to the student that says, "This work is poor quality, but I give up on you ever doing it any better." Giving a paper back with comments on how it can be made excellent quality work implies that you think the student is capable of doing excellent quality work, and you consider it worth your time to coach them on how to do it. This values the student rather than degrading them. Although I'm not sure this has ever been thoroughly studied, I believe that our traditional grading method may be contributing to the high dropout rates in today's high schools. Just look at it logically. Many students never get above a C. We all know that a C means that the work is mediocre to poor quality. If you were told every day that your work was poor quality work, how many years would it be before you quit and tried to find something you could do well? The discipline of degrading may have prepared students in the 1900s for work in routine factory jobs, but today's students not only don't learn well under this form of degradation, the process does not prepare them for the creative jobs of tomorrow. Changing grading to coaching, and coaching for excellence, and then assigning grades based on how much excellent quality work the student has done encourages students to strive for excellence and to demand more of themselves. It might actually decrease the dropout rate. Research does show that most students who drop out are capable of graduating. They just drop out because they're bored or frustrated by not seeing the relevance of what they're learning to their lives. Consultant learning makes their learning relevant by allowing them to control the context of the learning. Traditional grading teaches students to settle for good enough. A C passes. A C is all that's necessary to graduate. Well, now there may have been a time in the 1900s and before when going through the motions and just doing the bare minimum was all that an employer wanted and needed from an employee. Today, however, as Jim Collins wrote in his book Built to Last, good enough almost never is. In consultant learning, students learn that only excellent work is acceptable. Let me give you a very simple example. If a plumber came to your house to fix a leak, only partially fixed it, tracked dirt all through your house and didn't clean up his mess, and then when he got to the door he said, "Well, I didn't do a very good job here, so instead of the quote that I gave you for $200, I'm only going to charge you $100. Would you pay him? Heavens, no. He'd have to do it right and with quality to be paid anything, and then you'd pay him the agreed upon fee. Well, that's how consultant learning works. The student has to make the work excellent quality work in order to get paid anything. And the quantity of excellent quality work is the measure of whether the student receives an A, B, or C for the course. Even a C student can be proud of the excellent quality work that they did in the course. Now, in Part 3, we discussed grading. Grading's impact on students, grading's potential impact on student dropout rates, and how grading is changed to coaching in consultant learning. In Part 4 of this presentation, we'll learn the nuts and bolts of how the process of consultant learning is implemented.